Hi, my name is Emily, and over the summer I worked on a project examining how children's responses affect idiom learning in children with and without autism. This project was part of an 8-week research program at the Chinese University of Hong Kong. Autism spectrum disorder, or ASD, is a neurodevelopmental disorder characterized by deficits in social communication, presence of restricted interests, and repetitive behaviors. Following the inclusive education policy, most children with ASD attend mainstream schools in Hong Kong, where they interact and learn with typically developing or TD peers. Children with ASD have been reported to have deficits in idiom comprehension. We wanted to investigate whether the presence of an ASD child alongside TD children would affect learning in classroom settings for both the ASD and the TD child. We also used two different learning modes in our study, cooperative learning and instructor-led learning mode, where cooperative learning promotes children to work together to improve learning, and instructor-led allows for less interaction among children. Past research shows mixed effects of cooperative learning for ASD children, and few studies link children's responses to their learning outcomes, which is the focus of my project. As a note, the study was conducted in Hong Kong, where Cantonese is the primary language. Children in this experiment were taught Chinese idioms in Cantonese. Our study addressed 3 research questions. Do ASD children benefit from cooperative learning versus instructor-led in idiom learning? Does the presence of an ASD child in a group affect TD children's learning outcomes? And what is the effect of children's meaningful versus meaningless responses on their idiom learning outcome? Our participants consisted of 156 children ages 6 to 7, organized into 2 types of quartets: ASD quartets, each with 1 ASD child and 3 TD children, and TD quartets, consisting entirely of TD children. The participating ASD and TD children were matched in nonverbal IQ, but ASD children had poorer language skills and social skills than TD children. The chart on the left shows the overall experiment process. The lessons were recorded, and I coded the children's responses from the videos. Children were taught idioms while wearing fNIRS caps, which allows for fNIRS hyperscanning. fNIRS hyperscanning is a neuroimaging technique that measures interbrain coherence, or the synchronization of brain activities among individuals of a group during social interaction. Children's responses and questions were categorized as meaningful or meaningless. The definitions and some examples are shown on the right. At the individual level for each participant, no significant differences in learning outcomes were found between cooperative learning and instructor-led learning modes for either ASD or TD children. At the quartet level, TD quartets showed no significant differences in learning outcomes between cooperative and instructor-led modes. ASD quartets performed worse in cooperative learning compared to instructor-led, suggesting that the presence of a child with ASD may affect group performances in tasks requiring cooperation, likely due to social skill challenges associated with ASD. Using a linear regression model, we found that only the number of meaningful responses significantly predicted their learning outcomes, meaning that the number of questions children asked, the number of meaningless responses, and the duration of those responses were not predictors of learning outcome. Overall, ASD children produced more meaningless responses compared to TD children. Teachers also asked more meaningful questions during cooperative learning. The number of questions and responses from teachers was comparable across the ASD and TD quartets, indicating no teacher bias. Cooperative learning did not improve outcomes over instructor-led learning for either TD or ASD children. During cooperative learning, teachers asked more meaningful questions, leading children to produce more meaningful responses. The meaningful, but not meaningless, responses positively contributed to children's learning outcomes. The presence of an autistic child did not alter teacher behavior towards the group. However, group performance was affected, likely due to challenges in peer interaction and increased off-task behavior among ASD children. Some future directions include analyzing interbrain synchrony from the fNIRS hyperscanning data to examine whether children's meaningful versus meaningless responses mediate brain synchrony, and to determine potential effects on idiom learning outcomes. Code and analyze responses from the special educational needs quartets, with video data already collected, and to extend the study to other neurodevelopmental groups such as ADHD. I would like to thank the University of Calgary Study Abroad program for providing this international research opportunity, the undergraduate international research grant for supporting my research. I'm also grateful for Dr. Xin Zhao for inviting me to join your research project. Thank you, and here are my references.